Hello, good afternoon. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. We're going to give a chance for people to get signed in. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. Give a chance for people to sign in. I think we're going to wait another minute or two here, everybody. We had a few more people signed up, so we'll give another minute or two to people get checked in and we'll get started. All right, I'll only make us wait one more minute here, and then we'll get started. Some people have asked in the chat. Right now, we're in presenter mode, and so who you'll see by video will be the presenters. There will be an opportunity to ask questions in the Q&A, and I will certainly be checking that along with Brooke, just to see if there's any questions that we can answer, and we can ask the presenters throughout the presentation, and then there will be an opportunity for a conversation throughout there. So. All right, well, we'll get started. Good afternoon, everybody. And again, I said this a few times, but thank you for joining us. My name is Bill Collistad. I'm the Public Policy Manager for the Iowa Developmental Disability Council. And today we are presenting with COVID Recovery Iowa. We're joined by COVID Recovery Iowa counselors, Julia Gonda and Brittany Hershey. Julia has a background in social work, and Brittany has a background in speech language pathology. They both have experience in working with individuals with disabilities and their family. In today's webinar, Julia and Brittany will be covering the topic of celebrating the holidays safely. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the holiday season will look a little different this year. We are not used to our planning our celebrations around COVID, and there are lots of safety precautions to consider. Today, Julia and Brittany will share how to safely enjoy the season holidays. They have lots of ideas on how to change holiday traditions and still have a lot of fun, which we're all looking forward to. So thank you, Julia and Brittany, and for being with us today. And I will turn it over to you.
Great.
All right.
Go ahead and share my screen.
All right. Thanks for the intro, Bill. All right, thanks, Brittany. All right, so like Bill said, we'll be talking about how to celebrate safely during this year of 2020 with the pandemic. As we all know, this is not the year that we all thought we would be having, and we were hoping that it would be over by now. But in terms of that, this has changed our daily routines, and it has also just shaped and reshaped our social interactions. It used to be normal to meet in terms of like just meeting with your family or just meeting with friends, and it didn't mean anything. You didn't even have to wear a mask. And so all that has changed as of this year. And so with all that, it has left us with these feelings that we don't even know how to just shape or to even put into account. And so some of the feelings that this has left us into feeling is a sense of loneliness and a sense of isolation, being that we can't see our families or spend time with our loved ones. And also this sense of worriness, because in terms of like, we don't know when it will be over, or we were hoping that it would be over by the holiday seasons. And also anger, like in terms of like, just with worriness and anger, we don't know how to process, and so that leaves us with anger. Then just frustration and confusion, which we just wanted to put this in here to just say that it's normal, and we're all in this together, and that we've all been feeling these feelings. And so with that, we just wanted to pose the first question, of which you can share this in the chat, of just your answer. How much has COVID-19 impacted you within this year? And so there's a poll that just popped up with how much has COVID impacted you? And you can go ahead and answer. Okay. Okay, here are the results. Okay, so with the question, how much has COVID-19 impacted us? About 60% said a lot, 40% said somewhat. I think those were all overall. It's 60% of a lot and somewhat. Okay, and as we can see, it's impacted all of us based on the answers of the poll. And so with this here, sorry, I can't see my slide. And so with this, we want to discuss the old ways that we used to celebrate and the new ways as of 2019. And so with this, COVID has reshaped our traditions and celebrations. And with this year, we can't gather in large groups. It's difficult to gather safely with people outside of our households. And also the Center for Disease and Control advises us to not share food, which we all know that that's an important part about the holidays. That's what we all love about the holidays, is just gathering together and eating with your loved ones. And so with this, potlucks and buffet style gatherings are not advised, being that it's easier to transfer germs. And so also with this, this year, we need to wear masks to our celebrations or our gathering, which we never used to do that. And also practice social distance with a minimum of 6 feet. And so with this, celebrating holidays, we all love to celebrate holidays. The next question that I'm gonna pose is, what do you like about the holidays? And this can just go within the chat. About just your favorite things about the holidays, or what you like about the holidays.
And as you guys put those in the chat, we're going to try and make a word cloud together.
Brittany, did you want me to read these out loud to you? Or
Sure. What are some things you're seeing?
Okay, so I see a turkey. It's the season of giving, family, pumpkin pie, family, football, and naps. Yes, I love naps as well. Being able to travel and spend time with friends and family. Yes, a variety of food. Games.
Okay. Great. So those are all wonderful answers. So if you'll look, we created a pretty cool word cloud here. It's actually a word leaf from all of the things that you guys are talking about. So football, presents, gathering, all of the really fun parts of the holidays. These are all the things we love. And today we're going to talk about how can we keep some of these traditions and what can we do to still have all the things we love in our holiday seasons. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that. So when we're talking about, Julie was talking about a lot of the changes that we're experiencing throughout COVID right now. And so that's going to change the way we celebrate. So we're going to kind of talk about two things. We're going to talk about changing some of our old traditions, so changing the things that we used to do, and then adding new traditions to still have fun, still have those social connections, and still enjoy the holiday season. So we're talking about changing some of the old ways that we would celebrate. Some things that we might want to consider this year are virtual dinners. So the Center for Disease Control is highly recommending that we don't, travel and meet with people outside of our household. So a really safe option is to do a virtual dinner. You can still make all of the delicious foods. You can still have the conversation, meet over a video platform such as Zoom or Skype or FaceTime. And so you can still have conversation and play games, but you're all doing it from your own household. Another thing is to gather with people within your household. That's a safer option just because those are the people we're interacting with every day. If you are, if you've already decided that you are going to have a gathering with people outside of your household, then there's ways to go ahead and try and decrease the risks and try and keep it safe. So some of those things could be to have an outdoor gathering or a well-ventilated space. So basically this just means making sure we have a way to have a lot of air circulation throughout the place so we're not leaving the germs in the environment. So if, I know with weather that's sometimes a little bit tricky, but if you can have an outdoor gathering like meeting out in the garage with the door open or having an outdoor, gathering, or if you are going to be inside, see if you can crack some windows open just to allow some more airflow throughout the space. So that's just one kind of little change that you can make to help decrease some of the risks. Something else is reducing some of the noise and singing and shouting within your household. So if you are a family that typically loves to have a lot of music blasting, or you're a pretty loud family, I know my family's kind of loud, we're pretty big talkers. Sometimes you might start to kind of shout or get loud. And so maybe just reducing some of the background noise. So lower the music, or even, just kind of separate people in other rooms throughout the house, just spread people around. So then the overall environment's a little quieter. Also reduce the time of the gathering. So it's recommended that we meet for 2 hours or less. This is still plenty of time to, get together, have a good meal, have some conversation, of course, while wearing masks and social distancing. But, this is not typically, we might meet for an afternoon or even a whole day. And so it's just really recommended to have shorter gatherings together. The other thing is not to share food. Like Julia said, buffet style potlucks are very common, very popular. But this year, we want to try and reduce those as much as possible. The reason for that is because then we are sharing food and we're touching some of the same things, including the utensils, like the serving spoons. So if you are going to have a buffet gathering, it's recommended that you have one person serving the food. So make sure that person washes their hands and then puts on a mask, and then they can go around and serve the food to everyone. That'll just help to make sure we only have one person touching the utensils versus multiple. But if not, try and bring your own food and your own, cups, utensils, those kinds of things. And then if you are, eating and drinking and you leave your food or your plate behind, go ahead and get a new one just to be safe, just to make sure that nobody else shared that drink or that food with you. It's always best just to go ahead and get a new plate if possible. The other thing is, like Julie said, we haven't had to worry about masks in the past. So, and what do we do when we're sitting down to eat and we're taking off our masks? Well, a really easy recommendation is to store your mask in a plastic bag and then go ahead and write your name on it and keep it by your chair. So you can, you can eat, enjoy the meal, and then when you get up, you have your mask right there ready to go and you can put it back on. So that's just a really simple kind of safety measure to take. Again, these are all things we haven't had to think about. So it's just small changes to still have that fun time. Another thing is washing dishes immediately. Just so we have, when we're eating food, we might have a saliva on there and leftover food. So we don't want those to get touched or get left out. So go ahead and put those in the dishwasher or wash them by hand with hot water. And honestly, it's kind of nice, right? Get all the dishes done and then enjoy the rest of the day. I'm sure whomever is hosting Thanksgiving is really going to thank you for that. So that's kind of a nice one. The other thing is just to limit pet interactions. So pets can, carry and have COVID, but another thing is they're just so cute and fun that everyone, is petting them and touching them and nuzzling them. So it's best just to kind of keep them away from those big group environments. So I've talked about a lot of changes. These are a lot of things that we're going to adjust as we're going through Thanksgiving. And so you might encounter some family members or friends who don't share the same opinions about that you do, or don't, want to celebrate safely, or, have concerns. So how do we navigate those conversations? Because those are kind of tricky. Well, there's a couple different options for you. One, if you're at the event, try and create some physical distance. So if you don't feel safe or comfortable, maybe go to another room for a while. One thing that I've heard a lot of recently is, I want to go to the event and we're all going to wear masks, but when we eat, we're not wearing masks and I don't feel comfortable. What can I do? For that, I would say if you can set up your own eating space in a separate room, and then, everyone eats, clear the dishes, and then come back with masks on. So, those are just some little changes that you can make that you can still feel safe and comfortable and be at the gathering. But let's say you're planning and, you have all of these ideas for the gathering and how you want to be safe, but others do not have those same opinions. We're going to go ahead and put these 2 links in the chat and you can view them in your own time. But basically, these are nice little guides that tell you how to have those conversations. So they walk you through how to tell someone politely to put on a mask, or how to tell someone politely to step back a little bit so you have that 6-foot distance. And just how to kind of navigate those gatherings. Because the other thing is, once you're there, people might get a little more comfortable and maybe not wear the mask as long or drop it below their nose when they talk. So just how do we have those conversations and what can we do? So these are just some really nice tips to have going into the holiday gatherings. And then if none of these solutions work and you don't feel comfortable or safe, you're always welcome to leave the gathering. Maybe call or video chat so you can still participate. But, this is all about how we can stay safe and feel comfortable, but also still have fun. So those are just some nice little guides for you. Now let's talk about, though, changing the way we celebrate. So we've talked about changing some of our old traditions. Let's talk about, adding some new traditions in. So say you can't get together and you don't have video chat, what can you do? Well, you can write letters to each other, write letters to family and friends, share what you're grateful for, what you're looking forward to in the next year, all the fun things you've been up to. Maybe put in some positive quotes or jokes in there. That's always good too, just to kind of have those uplifting messages. So write letters or even do phone calls, have phone conversations and just talk about the different, activities that you've been up to and what your plans are for the day. The other thing that we can do is a lot of virtual games and parties. So you can, if you guys love to have music and dance, usually have a dance competition, but just do it virtually. So everyone's in their own household. Or do Pictionary. This year, I'm actually planning to do a Thanksgiving themed Pictionary with my family. So maybe you guys can each come up with some words for each other and challenge each other to draw the best turkey or something. Do scavenger hunts. You can either come up with a list, and we have one on our Facebook page that we can share with you. But you can also just do really fun lightning round scavenger hunts where you say, okay, find a blue object in 30 seconds, go. And then everybody has 30 seconds to come back, and then you guys can vote on who has the best item. So these are still fun ways to get together with your family and friends, still have some good activities to look forward to, but you're staying safe. You can also do virtual watch parties. I know at this time of year, sports are a huge thing. So how can we have those sports gatherings? We'll just do it virtually. You can still bring your favorite snacks, and talk about the rivalry and still have those fun, game conversations, but you're just doing it in a safe manner. Or watch your favorite kind of holiday movie together. Those are always those are fun. I've done a couple of those. You can also share recipes and have a bake-off or a cook-off. So this is especially nice, if you're not going to gather with a person and then you're missing out on some of those fun recipes. Well, ask for them. See if you can share those recipes and then have a taste competition. Everyone get on virtually and share what they loved about making the recipe or what they would do differently. Just enjoy those different kind of gatherings. You can also create your own fall decorations or even winter holiday decorations. If you go on Pinterest or even do some Google searches, there's a lot of different things that you can do with just items around your house to decorate and have fun. And that can still make it feel kind of festive, even though we're not gathering in large groups this year. There's also a lot of virtual 5Ks out there all across the state, and quite a few of them give you medals and t-shirts just for participating. So I think that would be something fun to do if that's kind of typically a tradition that you have. Also, a car parade is an option. So let's say, you have family and friends that live in town, but you've decided you're not going to get together. What can you do? Well, you can drive around, make signs, wave to everyone, even talk over 6 feet away in a driveway while wearing masks, and just talk about what you guys are going to do for the day, but just kind of make it fun. The other thing is to join COVID Recovery Iowa events. And this isn't even holiday specific. So at COVID Recovery Iowa, we have multiple events a week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this presentation. But this is also a fun way to have virtual activities, to still connect with people, and just to, really talk about different, activities and events, and even mental health techniques. So that's always a fun option as well.
All right. So I'm going to go into some safety ways to how to stay safe during the holidays. And as I mentioned before, the Center for Disease and Control has been really amazing and just giving us recommendations and keeping up with ways to stay safe during these holiday seasons. And so some ways that they recommend to stay safe during these holiday season is wearing a mask. And then in terms of that, we have a picture at the bottom that demonstrates how to properly wear a mask in terms of like making sure that we're covering both our mouths and our noses. Then social distancing with a minimum of 6 feet, which the second picture shows how to properly do that. And as we see, they're practicing this minimum of 6 feet, but also remembering to wear their masks. And also just remembering to wash our hands frequently. And the last thing is making sure to wipe down commonly used surfaces, and especially when we meet during these holiday seasons, with making sure that especially the kitchen or wherever food is being served, making sure to keep those places clean, being that with food, germs are more commonly in those areas. So just keeping those safe. Next slide, please, Renee. Okay, thank you. Then here's a link of just other more ways that the CDC recommends in coping with the holidays during the season. And if we can share that in the chat, that would be great. And so within that link, it just shows like different ways to host if you're hosting or attending gatherings during this holiday. And some other things are if you're serving food or drinks at small gatherings, and like how to properly do that. And also just different ways to manage stress during the holiday seasons. And also there at the bottom of that link, there's ways if you do just and steps to take if you are exposed to COVID-19 during the holiday seasons, and just how to stay safe. All right, next. All right, and this is just a lovely graph that that the University of Iowa made in terms of like risk level of activities to do. And so that with green being things that are low risk to do during the holiday, and just in terms of COVID in general, then also with yellow being moderate, of moderate risk, and with red being really at a super high risk in terms of safety wise. And some things that are within the green low risk are like watching sporting events or TV shows from home. Also having dinner with members of your family. I'm sorry, having dinner with members of your households, like Brittany shared before. If you're already within the same household, you're exposed to the same germs, so you're already like it's safer. And then with moderate being something as shopping in stores during less crowded days or times. Then things that are of a higher risk is shopping in crowded stores, attending a crowded tailgate or a bar, or running in or watching a crowded race. So just making sure we're staying safe and practicing more of the greens during this season to keep not just ourselves safe, but also other people.
Yeah. So that's kind of a lot of what we talked about with our holiday gatherings. So we covered a lot of ways that you can stay safe and add new traditions. So please feel free to put in the chat if you have any questions about that. We're also here to offer any kind of creative solutions. So if you have any questions about your plans for the holiday and maybe how we can adjust them so they're even more safe, please feel free to do so. But now we'll go ahead and kind of talk about COVID Recovery Iowa. So this is a program like that Julie and I are working with. We are counselors here. And this is a program for all Iowans. Julia and I specifically work with individuals with disabilities. And so we have individual and group counseling sessions that are free. And basically, these are here to offer support for you throughout this time. So, if we know that the holidays are a stressful time, but we know that this whole year has been stressful and there's been a lot of changes. So we're here to talk to you about those different things. We're also here to offer any kind of resources that you might need or activities. So we're also here to educate about COVID. So we have a lot of different things that we can talk about on an individual and a group basis. And there's a lot of ways that you can contact us, which is kind of nice. So we'll go ahead and put our contact information throughout the chat, but you can always feel free to call us. If you call that toll-free line, you'll get a counselor on the phone. And again, we offer different supports and services. You can also text Chat Buddy to 85511. And if you text Chat Buddy to that number, that just lets us know that you want to have a conversation. And so we'll go ahead and start that with you. You can also feel free to email us at covidrecoveryiowa@compass.org. And then let's say you want to come up with an appointment, you do want to talk to us, but you don't have time right now, but you know you have time next week. You can always go ahead and sign up online at that Schedule Once link. And what that'll do is bring up a page for you, and you can sign up for an appointment that's 15 minutes long, 30 minutes long, or an hour long. And then you get to choose the day of that appointment, the time, and also what we do. Are we going to talk on the phone, through email, through Zoom? So there's a lot of different options. So that's kind of nice, especially, like I said, if you want to make an appointment in the future. And then if you visit the website, COVID Recovery Iowa website, you will see all of our contact information on the right. And it also just gives you a little bit more in depth about our program and what we do. So this is, again, great way to get connected with us. We are here to talk to you on an individual basis, but we're also here to talk and do group events as well. And how we do that is through our Inclusion for All Facebook group. So we'll also be sure to put that link in the chat. But through Facebook, we offer a lot of different group opportunities. Right now, we're meeting through Zoom 3 times a week. And we have different activities that we cover that you'll see here, such as Mindfulness Mondays, where we talk about different mental health techniques. We've done a lot of fun activities like, yoga, meditation, journaling, breathing techniques. So we all get together as a group and we practice something, and then we chat about it at the end. What did we like? What didn't we not like? What would we do in the future? And also just chat about our day too. We also have Togetherness Tuesdays. This is where we get together to have fun. We're going to do either crafts or games, trivia. So we have a lot of different activities planned. We already have all of our activities planned for December. So we're looking forward to some trivia, making holiday cards, and even a dance party. So yeah, if you're interested in anything like that, please feel free to join. And then we also have Friendship Fridays, which is just another way to get together and do activities and social gatherings. So through that, they have done magazine collages, all about me magazine collages. Also, the Spirit Squad from the University of Iowa joined and taught everyone cheers. So there's always fun activities to look forward to. And it's a great way to get connected with others as well. We also have daily posts where we talk about COVID, just providing different education and resources. We have different events, and then we also just give little posts about self-care too. So we have things like Workout Wednesdays, which really focus on mental health, but then we also have Thankful Thursdays, which kind of focus on that mental health piece as well. So just a lot of daily posts that are encouraging throughout this time. So basically what we want to say is we have a lot of options for everyone to stay safe, and we just hope that everyone can still have fun throughout this holiday season and find the best plan of action for them, as well as their families. So we hope that you guys have a really safe and fun Thanksgiving. And that's all we have. So I don't know if there's any questions or comments in the chat.
Sorry about that. I thought maybe we give people a chance to ask some questions here through the chat. And I haven't seen, there hasn't been, you've been answering the ones that they've put up there. And I think people are reminding everybody to stay safe and to wear masks and stay home if possible. I think that those are some really great options that both Brittany and Julie gave us about ways that we can participate in Thanksgiving and our family gatherings, but also some things we can do going forward with some of your social groups too. So if people have some questions, they can send them to the chat and I can catch them. Give it a second here.
Stop sharing.
Brittany and Julie, I think people would like to see these slides if you're able to send that to us, and we can make sure that those get out to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you, Brooke. Alicia and I were talking offline because some people had asked that. They asked for the links and the slides. And so we're going to send out the recording of this so people can actually have that in their email and they can rewatch it again or watch certain sections or share it with family. But we'll share the links there and the slides as well. So thank you. So one of the people had commented that they had planned to go home and had been socially isolating to plan to go home, but it looks like that plan got canceled. So just I think you kind of talked about that in the beginning, Julia, that we have a lot of emotions and feelings that go along with this, and I think there's some options there. But maybe you guys want to talk a little bit about that. So they had planned to go home, had been doing all the right things, and then got closer to the date and realized they better stay home. How do they deal with those emotions a little bit, and then how do they? You already talked on some of these, but what are some of the plans they can do the day of to make it as normal as possible?
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing that I would recommend is go ahead and, if you are feeling upset about that or you want to talk to somebody about those feelings, feel free to call or text us. we'd be happy to just talk about those different things and talk about some of the different options. And I think that is really hard, is, coming to those decisions of actually not being able to hang out with our family and friends like we used to. I know my family's, they're a couple states away, and so I can't travel this year and see them. So I think, it's completely valid to have those feelings and be disappointed. I mean, I think we're all kind of disappointed with, how these holidays might turn out. But again, that doesn't mean we can't try and have fun and come up with some other options. So I would just recommend trying to come up with some other plans. Again, if you do have video chat, maybe video chatting with them and come up with some really fun activities. If there are certain games or movies or, things that you would do during that time, still try and schedule those and do those on Zoom. There's a lot of really cool special effects and things that you can do on Zoom. And they've also, they have gone ahead and removed their time limit. So it's no longer that you can only spend 40 minutes on Zoom. So, I mean, that would be kind of a good way to still have conversations even throughout the day with your family too.
Right.
Thank you.
I think
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think just to add to that, it's like with what I shared at the beginning, is just the fact that like you feeling sad is like normal. Like, of course we all want to be with our family. So don't beat yourself up too hard for being sad or frustrated that you won't be able to see your family. And so with that, just doing some of the things that Brittany recommended. And I think even I think just going back to writing letters, like I think that's something that I'll try implementing this year, where it's like, I know a lot of stuff is like more virtual this year. So it's like, I think that's just like another way to stay connected. And Brittany, can you share like with what you're doing with the letters with your family? Because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I, throughout COVID, have started writing letters with my family. And in each letter, we give each other a drawing challenge. So it might be something really simple like, hey, draw me a flower, or draw me a tiger, something fun. Sometimes it's cartoon characters and different things. So we send those letters back and forth. And in each one, I might say, hey, draw me a scarecrow for fall. And that's been kind of a fun thing to look forward to, is just what's my next drawing challenge. It's also really kind of forced me to broaden my skill set a bit. Usually I'm just kind of doodling and drawing. So this has been a new way to even, fine tune a hobby. So you could do things like that, or like I said in a letter, maybe each time send back and forth positive quotes or jokes, silly stories, or even movie quotes. Hey, guess that movie quote. There's a lot of fun ways. It doesn't just have to be a letter about what we're doing in our day. You can make it as creative as possible.
Those are really good. I just read something yesterday, and it said, and this kind of goes back to something you said, Julie, and then it kind of adds to that part what you're talking about, Brittany, is that they said be really thoughtful about when you get sad or when you get frustrated. And I was thinking about myself earlier when COVID first, and I was doing a lot of Netflix or watching a lot of shows one after the other, and I was watching movies, and then I realized those were the times where I was really kind of worrying about COVID. And so I started cooking, and then I started, a hobby, and then I started, walking at my lunch hour and trying to find something. So knowing that, knowing where you where those feelings become most prominent. Certainly you got to recognize them and like you said, Julie, not avoid them, because we are sad we can't be with our family. But then developing those habits, and whether it's drawing a picture or writing a letter, that might take your mind away from some of the sadness that you're having as well, or at least redirect it in a different way. So
Right.
Yeah.
good. I see
Yeah,
some
and
more chats here. Let's see. People are thanking you. Good idea. To look into that. Video chatting. Yep. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw in the chat, somebody put even about being in your room for days. And that's, that's tricky. And I know that's hard, just being confined to one space. So that's something that we, even on our Facebook page, talk about different activities and just changing up your routine. And one thing I would suggest, even with cooler weather, I know it might be harder to get out and walk or go do some of those exercises, but even if you can sit by a window when it's sunny, or, do yoga by the window or something, so you can still see the outside. Just changing up our activities and changing our atmosphere, even within the home, can be really positive and helpful as well.
Absolutely. Somebody had said they've been using the Iowa Text Counseling app. they provide a live therapist to talk to, and wondered if we had heard about that and said it was very helpful.
That's really cool. That's a good resource. I haven't heard of that one personally, but that's excellent. I think it's important to have that support network right now.
All right. Well, this has been good. And I think we can, I think it gives us some options to kind of try to look forward to the holidays and try to find some things that will be important. And hopefully everybody takes away 1, 2, or 3 things they can use to enhance their holiday or to make it better for them. And then there's also what I really liked about it too, is at the end, all that information about that ongoing support we need and some of the sessions that we could join with your group. So I want to thank Julie and Brittany for their presentation and the time they put into that. And hopefully everybody will have a safe and remote holiday. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.